Alright mates, welcome back to Albion. I'm in a little bit of a pickle. I've actually already finished the game, up until like the first main quest, which pretty much takes you off the island I'm currently on. Which is, you know, a sizable portion of the game, about 2 or 3 hours, give or take. And it seemed like back in this early part, something clearly went wrong with the capture device, and the video is completely unusable. Uh-oh. That's not what I was supposed to do. In any case, yeah, I'm basically coming back to you from the future. I'm gonna try to streamline the process of me going through this tiny dungeon, and subsequently have a wander through the city in like a bit of a speedy fashion. Because, you know, I've lost a good chunk of my usable video capture, so yeah, this is gonna have to do. You're gonna see me like ignore a lot of pickups and, you know, mostly useful stuff, because once I've finished re-recording this first bit of the game, I'm just gonna go back to my earlier save, honestly. In any case, so we basically go down into the cellar of the Hunter clan, because this place is filled with goodies to the absolute brim. Let's see. We have some food. A bunch of torches, bunch of weapons. A bunch more weapons, which should be useful, but, you know, I'm just gonna give Tom the gun for now. Because if I'm gonna go back to my earlier save, there's no real point not using the gun. I realize now that, given the timestamp of this video, I haven't actually had the gun in action before. But usually the idea is that if I'm overpowered by enemies, I tend to take out the stronger first with the gun, and then try to finish off the rest with the melee weapons, you know, to save some ammo. And this is the basic cellar. There's a lot of goodies to be found. And this is one of the most important things to find. Amidst the wreckage of the ship, there's actually still a functioning clock which you can activate to very strangely get human clock time on an alien planet, which, you know, makes complete sense. And still sort of magically syncs up with the day-night cycle. How amazing is that? That is one hell of a clock. And then, of course, as you wander the wreckage of your old ship, egads, shit goes down. So as soon as you get like halfway through this tiny dungeon, you immediately get accosted by these Grin. And these guys are basically cannon fodder. They're like the weakest enemies of the game, but since your party pretty much hasn't seen any combat yet, they're still sort of dangerous. Yeah, case in point. Even with me wasting all my resources, this is still gonna be one hell of a fight. Let's see. Yeah, Tom is gonna get a huge beating, and I'm gonna chug stim drinks like it's nobody's business. Let's see. Yeah, that should do it. There we go, there we go. That should do it. So now I just sort of... I think I'm gonna wait and see if Rainer can deal with this. Or is just gonna run away. Fuck it. The problem, of course, now is we're kinda stuck in this place. But no worries, because we can pretty much just keep looting. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of horrors we have to face, as long as we can keep looting. And over the course of your looting endeavors, you basically happen upon a pickaxe, which you can then definitely use to sort of bash in the walls, which is very useful. And I think will come into play again in the future. I don't quite remember. But, you know, instead of making a hasty escape, why not keep going for a bit? I mean, what could go wrong? Ah, oh no, something went wrong. So now we're basically left to fend against all these Grin. But I do think Tom should be leveling up fairly soon, which will sort of give us a minor boost. It's not gonna be much, but it's gonna be something. And thus it seems you hit a very swift dead end. Or is it? Because, you know, the game just taught you that you can sort of look very closely at the walls and spot the difference, hurrah hurrah. And you can keep bashing walls in to find more stuff. Sadly, you're also gonna find more assholes to fight, but it should lead to goodies, right? Fight assholes, receive goodies, that's how the world works, pretty much. And thus Tom gains a few worthless levels. However, there is more wall bashing to be done, which opens up the place to a Krondir, which is of course considered like the boss of the area. This is just a normal, average enemy, but to your starting party, of course, it's trouble. It spells trouble. These guys can throw down in one hit. It's not pretty. Maybe I should use Rainer as bait. Let's see. Usually it takes like 2 hits with a gun to take these guys down. As long as you hit, of course. That's 1. And, ooh. And that's 2. I'm not gonna take the garbage. You know, because earlier saves and all that. But this should lead us to our very good reward, which is a fire ring and a bunch of garbage. I mean, if you like spoons, I'm not gonna hold it against you, but... And we also get a red potion, which is actually a mana potion, completely useless to our 2 scientific spigots right here. But it's a nice little extra. But wait, there's more. And thus we hop into the next wall, which is sort of veers off to the side. And contains a lot more Grin. Let's see. Can I sort of deal with you assholes with the least resistance? Because I've dealt with you assholes before, I don't need this again. I'm actually quite thankful that the game decided to fuck up on me in a very plot-heavy area. You know, it was just this dungeon and then a lot of talking to people. It's fairly easy to just do all that again. But like, especially the early combat in this game can be a bit of a mess, so I'm kinda glad I don't have to do too much of it. Twice. Let me put it that way. And thus you enter some sort of weird room with a bunch of berry bushes. I don't quite remember if there's anything of note in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a nice helmet. And a shield. Which, strangely, these guys don't question, but they're actually human shields. And human helmets. Dun dun dun, foreshadowing. But in any case, this sort of makes our dungeon look like a floppy wiener, and spells pretty much the end of it, so I'm just gonna go back upstairs. What happened, friends? I heard noises in the cellar when I came up here. Yeah, buddy, listen. Your cellar is sort of infested with wildlife. Has any of you been injured? And this is where, of course, you say yes and sort of grovel and whimper and play the victim card, because then he gives you a free health potion. And that's pretty much the end of the Hunter clan. We don't really need to be here anymore, except if you like want to rest and heal, but even then, you're probably best off just sort of resting outside the city. In case people are interested, like resting and healing, it takes about 2 rations per person, I think. And depending on where you buy your rations, I'd say 2 rations cost about half a coin. Times 8. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe a bit more. Like 2/3 of a coin. So it's usually a good idea to not like visit the inn and just sort of heal with your own rations. Generally speaking, you know? Because money is not that hard to come by in this game, but many good items are very, very expensive. Tom and Rainer are addressed by an Iskai dressed in battle armor. How you doing, buddy? I've come just in time. In the name of the Sebai Na, Chief of Council, I would like to welcome you to Jirinar, which is of course the city we're standing in. And basically, the head of state kinda wants to see us, understandably, so we just sort of immediately go say hello. Let's see. And there she is, in all her sort of weirdly Japanese flag glory. Oh, it's a circlet, is it? No. Zarima, strange visitors. I'm happy you have recovered from your wounds. My name is Janice. Oh yeah, her name is Janice. I think last time I made sort of a quip. Towards the nanny, because she kinda sort of looks like the nanny if you like squint really hard. I'm the Sebai Na of Nakaridani and president of the council. So she does very presidential stuff. And I didn't know that there was such powerful magic to sort of, you know, abuse the laws of physics and gain flight. And so Tom immediately becomes a waterfall of information, tells everything about the fact that they were gonna mine this helpless planet into death. And there's Janice, being a little goody two-shoes. Sort of doesn't believe that we came from a different world, but is completely okay with us telling her that, you know, our species is bent on destroying your universe, but if you could just give us passage to our ship, you know, we'll make sure it all turns out okay. And for some reason, she trusts us implicitly. To be frank, it is incumbent of me to have good relations with such an apparently powerful culture as yours, yeah. Therefore, let me propose something. In 2 days, there will be a small ceremony. The occasion is my great-great-grandson's coming of age. At that time, he will be introduced into society as an adult, and thus there is a festival. Which, you know, you'd never say no to. Especially in, like, alien culture. And then she goes on to tell us if we want to know more about the Sky, we generally go talk to the 2 mages guilds, which is the G-Fad and the G-Cause, which I think was talked about in the previous video. And now, of course, Janice is a well of information, but most of it is gonna be stuff that we've heard of before. So generally speaking, you have like 2 days until the festival starts, so you just sort of spend that time going around talking to the locals, and sort of pestering them while they're in their day-to-day. Now, most of these people don't really have that much to say, but there's a few that have like, I saw you there, but these people are not that important. There's a few that have like bits of interesting backstory. I'm probably not gonna go around talking to every single dude individually like I did last time, because I'm already bored to tears having to do this a second time. But generally speaking, actually it's the 3rd time, isn't it? It's the 3rd time I'm doing this. So yeah, I kinda just wanna give you guys the quick rundown of everything. This guy is basically the architect. He takes care of the council building and its inhabitants. Oh no, he's like the quartermaster, or maybe a janitor, who knows. Yeah. And since this is the main council building, there's a few very important people to be found. Also, there's a bunch of garbage. You can sort of rifle through all their stuff, and they don't really care. And there's a few interesting things to be found. Many of them behind locked chests, which you can open if you buy some lockpicks. And I think I did that in like the broken video, or the video that's coming after this, where I sort of bought all the lockpicks I can find and rifled through all their garbage to sort of get me the best stuff. Let's see. So yeah, these guys are very boring politicians and administration people, so there's not that much to do here, but we can sort of have Tom compliment this weird cat person on her clothes, which in their culture basically means that, you know, Tom wants to hit that, and then, you know, and I'm not particularly surprised. He kind of does look like a furry, so yeah, she's a scribe, and you know, it's basically a secretary, I guess, sort of. But you know, in cultures where there's not like printing press and email and shit, I can understand that those kind of professions are held quite in high regard, because, you know, they're an important source of information, of like old information. And this is the office of some very, very important dude who is not home right now. I think his name is Frill, right? Let's see. Sebai Geese Frill. Yeah. Geese meaning 20, and I know this because I have powers of foresight. And everybody's getting tired, yeah. So yeah, you can just go around, keep talking to these people, but as you can tell from the clock to the left, time actually goes by pretty fast, so if you want to focus on talking to important people, it's generally a good idea to get a move on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna meet you guys back in both guilds. I'm just gonna go through the mages guilds and talk to the important people. And here we go. This is the first major guild in the game, and we are immediately greeted by this beautiful ginger little cat thing. And she's trying to run away. I'm trying to have a chat. Come here. There we go. This is Sira. She's very cute. And she sort of, you know, tells us about the fact that she's very cute. And she started work here in the GCAS. I'm so happy about that because I haven't been with the GCAS all that long. She basically is taking the entrance exam, sort of. And so she can sort of tell us more about the GCAS, which has magic deeply rooted in the world. So all of their spells require us to concentrate our spiritual forces in a special kind of seed. And these seeds are indeed very important because these guys don't just use mana to cast spells, they also need one of these seeds. Luckily they are fairly cheap and you can sort of find plants that grow these seeds in abundance, so. We're also proud of the diversity of our crafts. We know magic for creating and destroying, for injuring and for healing. So this is a very versatile guild, is what they're trying to say. And the reason why they say this is because they're sort of opposed to the other guild. Because, let's see, I don't know if she's gonna have anything to say about the other guild, but there is a bit of rivalry going on. The relationship between our guilds is sometimes a bit troubled. Our diverse craft attracts some of their most talented members. And who can blame them? Perhaps the G-Fod are also angry because we built our guild house without their help. No. And there is more backstory to this. I'm not too sure if we're gonna get into this, but yeah, that's a spoiler. I'm not gonna say anything about that. In any case, Vizier is basically the head of the GCAS. And he's lived, because he's said by Frey, he's lived over 120 years. I'm assuming Frey means 3, maybe? Or 4? Yeah, that's gonna be about it. I'll see you later, Sira. Then of course you can head in here, where the GCAS have their local nurse, and she's a very, very sweet lady. You can sort of talk to her, and she can do the traditional medicine man stuff, but you can also just sort of have a chat about nothing and anything, and then when you leave, there's like a chance that she just gives you a free potion, and not just any kind of potion, like the big boy health potion. And you can just keep doing this infinitely, as long as you have like time and patience. It's a very, very slow but very sure process of building up a giant amount of good potions. You know, if anybody is interested in that, I'm not particularly. I don't think this guy's home. This is the place where the guy hangs out that sells the seeds, I think. And you can sort of rifle through his stuff, but oh shit, you can actually rifle through his stuff. That is interesting. Because when he's actually in here, he gets a bit angry about the fact that you're going through his stuff. That is interesting. I must have missed that last time around. Oh well, in any case, the most important person here, of course, is the guild leader, which I'm gonna try to find. he should be around to the north. Yeah, everybody's getting tired. It's really annoying. This is gonna keep happening. But the guild leader should be right here. This dude. Right, buddy? Yeah, this is Vizier. Sarima, and welcome to the House of the Jikas. I've heard about the impressive yet ultimately disastrous magic of your flying machine. I'm very interested in talking to you. Can you explain me how it works? Yeah. Let's go explain like quantum physics and shit, and the Einstein's relative bullshit of the theory of bullshit to this guy that sort of magically grows plants out of the ground. And thus, Rainer, of course, being the Fedora scientific man, he sort of questions the whole magic business. And then Vizier says, you know, you believe magic to be a superstitious belief. But it is not, it is just sort of, you know, old science. And thus Vizier takes us into a place full of moss. And then he goes on to sort of put Rainer in his place. The most beautiful part of magic is that it can create things, even if it is only everyday objects. Observe. And then he does the David Blaine thing. And pulls a plant completely out of his ass. They just see that, and then Rainer, of course, understandably, I'm going crazy, the tree is real, that was no trick. That was beyond any growth accelerators. Yeah, these guys obviously thinking in terms of science. I see now that I was able to eliminate your doubts. I hope you now think a little bit differently about our talents. It was an honor for me to speak with you, Tom. Look around our place some more if you'd like, but for now I must return to my work. And there you have it, the power of the Jikals, which is magic, which, you know, as an observer, is not all that special, but it's just, you know, science you haven't understood yet, but still. The next thing to do is to head to the second guild, which, pans out a bit differently. As you'll see in a minute. Here we go. We're immediately greeted by this lovely, lovely young lady that asks us if we need to have the grand tour. Well then, please follow me. The East Wing, where we are now, was built solely for presenting the achievements of the G-FOD. And so we sort of get the giant couch plant things to sort of sit on, and we get like immediately accosted with the sewer system, which, you know, I can understand that it's an achievement, but it's not exactly the first thing you go about showing off if somebody new comes into your house, like, have a look at my toilet. Isn't it fucking grand? I mean, I built it myself. Yet, listen, I don't want to have a look in your toilet, man. I don't know you. I don't immediately want to see what came out of you. Generally speaking, I don't want to see what comes out of anybody, you know, aside maybe from a select few people in my very close circles, but... And that actually concludes her grand tour. Look at my couch. Isn't it amazing? And then she sort of wanders off. We're left to like stare at the couch and the toilet. That's great, guys. That's superb. In any case, you can do the same here. There's a lot less to see in this guild house. But there's like randos to talk to. And they just sort of hang out. So you're the people the Hunter clan found. I'm happy to speak with somebody else for a change. So you sort of ask, what's the dealio? Aren't the people here nice? But my talent for the Jifad art comes from my family. I'm a descendant of Argim, and that makes many people a little nervous. Have you already heard this story? No, tell us about it. Yeah, Argim is sort of an important plot point, as you'll see in the future. He was the head of the Jifad almost 150 years ago, so about 3 or 4 generations. At the time, the Jifad's guild house was located outside the city. It was a magnificent building, near a Han in the middle of a forest. Argim was enormously talented, but also very fickle, and of course he wanted to do like the whole baby murder thing and become immortal. But then the council sort of said, yo, buddy, we can't let you do that because, you're a bit of a weirdo, innit? And he sort of went mad. And he strutted off into the wilderness to sort of achieve immortality on his own terms. That's like the long and short of it, pretty much. In any case, you can sort of wander to the north here, and we should be able to meet... Yeah, everybody's tired, I don't care. We should be able to meet the guild leader. Who are you? Yeah, just a guy. It's really worth going through all the desks and drawers because you can find a few interesting items. And many of them are behind lock and key, so, you know, bring a few lockpicks, I would advise. I think I managed to go through the entire first part of the game with all the lockpicks I found, open all the locked chests, and still have like 1 lockpick left over, if I'm not mistaken. This is Bradier. He looks like a very young fellow, with like spiky hair. Kinda looks like Bart Simpson, doesn't he? I'm a Stree Jifad and representative of Akir, of course a Stree being one of the sort of policemen. I support Akir in his work and instruct the advanced draw. That is strange, you have like a policeman that sort of does the teaching as well. And Stree... No, wait. That's not a Stree, that's a Styric. That's something else entirely. Stree Akir is head of our guild, and I am proud to call him my friend. He's an outspoken artist and magician who works hard for our guild's interests. I see. Yeah, I've totally been fucking that up. The Stree and the Styric are completely different. Yeah, Stree means that the person is a master of the subject, yeah. So this guy is basically second in command. And if we head a little bit further north, I think we should meet the big boss man himself. There he is. Zadiman, welcome to my guild, visitors. How do you like our guild house? And then you can sort of, you know, tell him that it's a little bit of a mess because you have a poo toilet in the middle of the entrance. Or you can just sort of lie your ass off and tell him that it's very impressive. Of course, if you select the former, he sort of gets a little pissy, and you can't talk to him anymore. Not that it really matters, but, you know. A lot of the decisions in this game are very much like aesthetics only, and like personal moral decisions. They don't really affect the game progression, as far as I know. So this dude can pretty much tell us a bit more about the Jifad, and we see what we do here as a mixture of magic, art and craft, since they're basically sort of a mix-up between architects and wizards. It's very much focused on building all of the buildings that you see around you. This means we can produce complete houses out of living plant material, which are not only beautiful, but also perform all of the functions necessary, like having a giant entrance hall poo toilet. Yeah, I mean, it is supposed to be impressive, and it probably is impressive to sort of learn how to do architecture completely from a living plan, but you know, you could sort of give away your prowess or show off your prowess a little bit differently than giant entrance hall poo toilet. I'm just saying.